Welcome everyone to Enlightened World Network. Today on A Meditation a Day, we have the genuine honor to have with us Harold Becker. And Harold is a wonderful founder of the Love Foundation, and he'll tell you more about that. And I'm Sue Seekoff, and today we're just going to enjoy a guided meditation. Hi, Harold. How are you?
Well, wonderful to be here, and I'm really looking forward to sharing the love with you and the audience.
I'm looking forward to it too. So you can go ahead and start whenever you're ready.
Okay. Well, we'll start with a nice guided visualization back into love, where we all come from. So I welcome everybody to kind of begin to relax in their bodies and begin to take and notice their breath and their breathing, because that's always a great place to bring us in full alignment. Bring our physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual awareness all together as one, and the breath is that unifying field. So as we begin to breathe, we can gently lower our eyes so that we can bring our attention and our awareness from the outer world to the inner world, the world of our imagination, the world where love springs forth, and the world where all the magic begins. As we take each beautiful breath and notice the breath, something we tend not to do throughout our days. Until we bring our attention to it, we notice we're breathing all the time. And in this breath, you can feel it moving through our bodies. With this breath, we can feel it moving through our emotions. With our breath, we can feel our energy moving through our mind. What we notice is that with each breath within, awareness and attention within on this breath, we also notice that this breath is beginning to calm us, soothe us, blend with us, love us. For that indeed is what the breath does. It animates the love that we are. With each breath, we feel our bodies just kind of relaxing all the tension from the day. Just let it slip away. We're taking a moment for ourselves right now. Taking a moment to be one with ourselves, connected with ourselves, aligned with ourselves. And this breath is the conduit, the catalyst, the blender of the inner and the outer. And as our body begins to relax more and more with each breath, we also notice that our emotions, our feelings are beginning to soften, become more gentle, more at ease, more at peace, more aligned to our physical body. We also notice as we breathe gently and deeply, and our mind is beginning to relax. The thoughts are becoming farther and fewer between. Less of our attention, more in alignment. Beginning to soften, lighten, and perhaps even become a bit more joyful in orientation. As our mind relaxes, it blends with our emotions and our feelings, which is blending with our physical body. We find all of this through the breath, becoming more relaxed, more refined, more releasing, more receptive to that spiritual nature that we all are. the divine aspect that is always with us. It has that spiritual essence, that etheric love that permeates from the center of our being. It now becomes more aligned and attuned with our physical, our emotional, and our mental bodies. Just through the breath, we are bringing harmony into the totality of who we are. Cells of our body are beginning to resonate with this light, this love. The atomic structure that makes up each cell is beginning to resonate with this light and this love. And indeed, that which is within is also without, as we are aligning with our physical presence, our emotional and our mental presence. Now tuning deeply within, consciously aware of our spiritual presence, that all-encompassing, all-pervasive, all-inclusive, resonant love. And in this alignment, we begin to feel the very essence of joy in the center of our heart, welling throughout the totality of our being. In this moment, in this alignment, we are fresh and new, as we are indeed every moment, fresh and new, ever ready to birth once again into the love that we are. For indeed, this love that we seek so desperately at times outside of ourselves is forever within ourselves, has always been here, always will be. This love is our core essence. It is the nature of our totality. It is a part of the very atomic structure of each and every particle, not only in our body, throughout our planet, our solar system, our galaxy, and the cosmos. Atomic structure is one with all, and it is this love that unites, inspires, and guides each moment into a birth of yet more love, ever expanding, ever evolving, ever becoming, ever expressing. Just with the breath, it's all it takes to unite our beingness with all that is. Just with the breath is all it takes to unite the love with all the love that is. Just with our breath, we express the joy that comes from the love, that comes from the peace, that comes from the center of our being, a united whole, with love as the center point, permeating, expressing, evolving, and expanding in every breath we take, every breath we give, every breath we are. This simple alignment, become one with our truest essence. With simple alignment, we become fully consciously aware of the love that we are. With simple alignment, we can evoke, intend, and inspire every thought, every feeling, and every physical action of word and deed with this core essence of love permeating totality of our imagination and the expression of every thought and feeling we have. In this now moment, this infinite power resides eternally, infinitely, forever within. It simply awaits our conscious awareness of its presence, and then the action and the use in this physical world through our thoughts, words, deeds, and actions, infusing every step, every breath, every thought, every feeling, every imagination, and indeed every memory from the perspective of love. This gentle caressing, ever unfolding and forever unfolding love. We can indeed take this spark that is the center of every experience of our life, and with our attention, bring it into a beautiful flame of love and light, making ourselves indeed a lighthouse, a broadcaster, an emitter, a transmitter, a radiance of love, so that all those in, through, and around us can see this beacon of love and light and remember for themselves that with the simple awareness of breath, they too can become a beacon, a radiance, a light. We can calm the storms of the world, and we can calm the storms of ourselves by simply being this radiance. We can indeed and are indeed powerful presence of light and love simply by being aware of our own innate presence of love. We can spark our own imagination, and we can light the way to spark another's imagination simply by being love. We can radiate our love in the darkest of places, and in so doing, we bring light to that space so that it can indeed know itself as light and respond to that light and be encouraged and inspired by that light. There's nothing to actually need to be or do in the physical action. It simply is an awareness of the consciousness of the love that we are. That is enough. That is where it begins. That's where the seed of all possibilities emerges in each of us as a unique spark. It is indeed the way love expands and grows, evolves, and becomes more through each of us. That is indeed why we exist, why we are, why I am, why all is. The ever-evolving, expanding essence of love throughout our individuality, our collective, and our universe. It simply becomes a part of us. We retain this consciousness, we retain this awareness. And every time we recall a breath, we instantly align with this love, this essence, this purity, this dignity, this integrity, this light, this love, this harmony. We indeed align with our magnificence, for we indeed are magnificent, for we are indeed light of love. And when we know this light and love within ourselves, we see it in all things, all experiences, all expressions, past, present, and future. We see the presence of love that has forever existed, exists now, and will forever exist. We remember who we are in relationship to all that is. And we remember all that is in a relationship with us. We know that which emanates from our heart indeed emanates from the heart of every single entity, individuality, manifestation, presence, from the atomic structure and beyond. It exists in all places, in all waveforms, in all vibrations, in all thoughts, in all feelings, in all materialism, in all manifestations of every type. Love is forever reflecting back. Just as we transmit our light, so too does that light become reflected back to us. When we know our love, we see the love in others. When we know our love, we see the love in all things. When we know our love, we express from that love and we create from that love and we imbue love into all things. As we, in fact, take our thoughts and our feelings, inspire, intend, and invoke love into each and every thought, feeling, word, deed, and action. We blaze a trail out into our universe with each step and with each breath, with each thought and with each feeling. Such is the power we emanate every moment. So on this day, we in fact restore our awareness once again upon the love that is the essence of our beingness. And through this realization and alignment of love emerges a new world, for we are indeed conscious, magnificent, sovereign beings using the power of our choice to choose the love we are as the expression. And in doing so, a new world begins to emerge in us, through us, and around us. As we walk upon this precious planet as a radiant light, we broadcast, we radiate, we transmit, and we share the essence of this love, so that anyone that crosses our path, walks beside us, came to us in the past, or may yet reveal themselves in the future, all will be touched by this love, because there is indeed only one moment ever. And that is right now, the moment that we are choosing to reunite, reconnect, realign, reabsorb our own light and our own love. With this conscious awareness, we allow this light to permeate the trillions of cells made up of trillions of atoms. And as the totality of our being becomes pure light, we allow this radiance to go beyond, not only to our own planet, touching the animal, plant, and mineral kingdoms. We allow this light to go beyond our planet, out into our solar system, passing beyond our own solar star and the precious planets associated to our system. And we indeed let this radiance go out throughout our galaxy, so that our galaxy lights up with this same loving essence. As the galaxy amplifies this radiance. It goes out into the galaxy of galaxies, ever spreading, ever expanding, ever evolving this love, touching every particle of existence with more love, lighting the love that already is, allowing it to evolve, expand, express, and become even more. Simply from the essence of the alignment of our breath, that which we are, powerful indeed, magnificent beyond our current present awareness, filled with dignity and integrity, inspiration and choice. As we just simply allow ourselves to feel this essence permeating every particle of our beingness, feeling our breath having become holy and divine, as brilliant light pulsing throughout our beingness, animating our essence, taking this pure wellspring of love and allowing it to become tangibly real through our physical essence, our emotional resonance, and indeed permeating our mind with brilliant, inspired, creative potential. Such is the power we wield in every moment, right here and now. Let us feel our essence. Let us feel our love. Let us express our joy, knowing who we truly are, no longer seeking that which can never be, and instead aligning that which has forever been and will forever be. Bringing the spark of light into beautiful radiance within our own beingness, allowing our bodies to become aligned with this radiance of love, this divine blueprint, this eternal essence and nature of who we truly are, and allowing ourselves to be the magnificence that we are. This is unconditional love, no conditions, simply allowing and receiving the love that we are, allowing it to permeate our essence, something we have sought for eons in our outer, simply because we forgot it was already within. And here we are this day, reuniting once again. The totality of our being of love, simply through a deep breath. As we begin to notice our breath once again, we feel a renewal, an alignment, a joy that emanates from the very essence of our being, which now is part of our conscious awareness we will carry throughout every step we take, and every experience we encounter, and every joyful adventure we create through our thoughts and feelings. We bring this love into every particle of our existence simply by breathing, aligning, allowing, and becoming. As we notice the gentle breath of our physical body, We feel the vibration of the very essence of our being through our emotions and our feeling world, is to feel a sense of harmony, a sense of grace, a sense of peace, a sense of joy. And as our feelings become fully infused with this loving energy, we allow our mind to feel the same gentleness, the same awareness, the same essence, imbuing our thoughts and our feelings with love. And with each breath, we feel more of our physical presence in the here and now. Feel more of our tangible body in the here and now. And yet it is more than when we began. We are aligned with the essence of our joy, the essence of our peace, the essence of our love, the essence of our magnificence. So we gently come back into this moment, this tangible moment, allowing our eyes to gently open and allowing ourselves to feel the love, the joy, the magnificence that we all are. We welcome you all back.
Thank you. You took us on quite a journey.
You usually do.
It's amazing how many prompts you gave us to just keep expanding out until we were in a galaxy of galaxies. I like that.
As within, so without.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I think that's become kind of my expression over the years as I kind of went global with my consciousness. Then I went kind of solar, and then I went, galactic, and then I'm like just necessarily with the universe. And then I realized, oh wait, there are trillions of cells in our body, and there's trillions of atoms in each cell. Isn't that kind of very similar to our cosmos? And aren't we a living cosmos right here and now? I read somewhere some years back that if you took all of the space between all the particles of the atomic structure and you actually took the materialism, the totality of our body was something like smaller than a thimble, so all this essence, all the donuts I've ever eaten apparently only really come down to the size of a thimble. If I, bring all that compressed space together, I like that, I like walking around as a thimble.
And that image of having the field of love permeate us, and I felt it getting thicker and thicker, and it just felt like my sense of self just got quieter and more peaceful, and I really enjoyed that I was able to just relax and feel more peace. So thank you, Harold.
I think it's the impulse of why I've chosen to walk this pathway for better part of my life, and this awareness that we as humans have been seeking all of this love outside of ourselves, and it's right here within, and it is up to us to actually bring that as our foundation, bring that understanding inside of us, love ourselves unconditionally, and then share from that place. And it does literally reorder every particle of our own personal experience, because we are no longer seeking and looking for other things to enhance our reality, to perhaps somehow make us whole, but we're acknowledging our wholeness and our magnificence. And, for eons as humans, we've diverged so far from that. In this day and age, it's what I find for a lot of people, very difficult to actually embrace their magnificence, because it's been so ingrained to the contrary. And yet knowing by my own personal life, it all stems from within. It is not something that is outside coming to me. It's up to me to express myself and then be aware of how I respond to the experiences in my world. And it's a reorienting from the outside to the inside, which most people would say, well, then you're just completely self-absorbed. What's quite contrary is that then we begin to experience a very different outer reality as a result. But none of my words or your words or anybody else's words can ever prove that to anyone. It's something that each one has to take up on themselves, because we are indeed all unique. And people will prove what they most want to experience. Challenges, most people are looking to experience external things. And it's been my awareness that when we experience ourselves, then the external things just simply enhance everything that much more in a very positive way.
And on your website, you say when we come from an open heart, we can also see the opportunity to love all things. And I think that's exactly what we're doing. We're feeling our connection to everything in a way that's beyond what we're usually taught. It's an opportunity to connect and then to see what reflection we have in the world. That's kind of fun.
And in fact, I would say from a consciousness expansion, I share this because everything that I do, I was a banker at one point and I've got a master's degree in business. I'm an unlikely candidate for what I'm doing, in my estimation, because, that's not what I set out. I was, trying to do everything right and wasn't happy. And that was a good question to conclude, because I decided, what will it take for me to be happy? Because I've been more consciously aware for over 30 years of the nature of life. I also know that there's a big consciousness shift. And one of the things that I've been more increasingly aware of is that people are, in fact, beginning to feel more. And they're beginning to feel themselves more, and they're beginning to feel the love more. And of course, it's making a lot of people very uncomfortable, because they are, in fact, waking up and realizing things that they tolerated for millennia and eons are no longer tolerable, because they're not in alignment with love. So the planet as a whole, the consciousness of humanity, is going through this waking up process. And the challenges, there hasn't been heretofore a lot of resources like this, like Enlightened World Network. There haven't been, when a lot of us started this, there were some books, there were some tapes, there were some things, but there wasn't really a deep understanding, and there wasn't a plethora of it. It was a handful of things. And so part of what I've chosen to do over these years is create simple inspiration that people can take to heart for themselves. But there's no, like, in my world, no 7 steps to this or that or the other, because each person has to resonate and come into it on their own. And what I'm glad to see is there's becoming more and more content, or more and more resources of awareness, so that as people are feeling perhaps the discomfort and looking at the old structures and saying this isn't answering anything anymore, they can find solace or inspiration in things like Enlightened World Network or the Love Foundation or something of that nature, so that they can feel like, oh, I'm not the only crazy one. Because let's face it, we all felt that way more than once in our pathway. Because I even recently spoke to a few of our board members. We have twice a year for our nonprofit, we have board meetings, and several of them I've not spoken to in between the board meetings. And everyone is evolving with consciousness, and we're all having our own personal experiences. But by talking, we don't realize how much aligned and in sync we are. And so there's a tendency, if you're the lone lighthouse and the waves are crashing all around you, that's all we think is out there, is waves crashing. But in fact, there are other lighthouses, there are other broadcasters, there are other emanators, there are other beings of light that are more consciously aware of their light. And then it kind of lends a resonance that says, oh, yes, we are bringing about a new world, because we're bringing about a world based with choices, beginning with unconditional love and sharing that out, versus what has been on the planet, which, the separation. I've always linked it as our separation from ourselves causes us to doubt because we are not aligned with ourselves. Doubt about life becomes fear. So fear is really just nothing more than an expression of a separation of ourselves, where you can't solve fear with more fear, and you can't solve fear with doubt. You have really only one option, that is to find an alignment with self. And once you do, then that alignment with self, every step is guided with wisdom and inspiration, and we are that guidance. And I think there's where, a lot of the religious structures over the millennia is still created a separation from that source, which is us. Because again, most people don't want to claim the I am that I am. And yet, in fact, that is exactly who we are. We are an embodiment of that I am when we are aligned. And it's multidimensional, so our brain cannot wrap its head around that concept. And yet, when we come from our heart, everything makes sense. And I found that on my own pathways, I discovered more and more about life. The more I discovered, the less I realized I knew. The less I knew, the more I could discover. And then pretty much found that almost the opposite of everything that was being taught out there was where the real nugget of truth was. And in fact, when I accepted and embraced my multidimensionality, when I accepted and embraced that I have, many lifetimes, there's a before life and an afterlife and a now life, and that I accepted the fact that multidimensionally I can't really understand it because there's still an essence of us that we feel a separation to. So it's natural on this physical plane to feel perhaps somewhat disconnected. But in fact, that's exactly how we end up creating more, because from this juncture, this perspective, we can see the contrast of life and we can make choices differently. The choice I made from a very early stage on this pathway was I was going to make the choices for me. And I wasn't going to let the outer world dictate what choices I was going to make. I could respond to them, but I always had the choice to come from love. I always had a choice to change how I saw something. And I have given myself that understanding that with unconditional love, I may not always be in a state of unconditional love, but I can always go back to it or return to it. And in fact, bring a new moment into this now moment by simply making a different choice. So it's extraordinarily practical. I think that's why I love the journey, because I always wanted to be practical, pragmatic, something that reached people anywhere on the planet. That simply recognized we all laugh, we all cry, we all have this human spirit, and we all have this divine spark. And when we can see it all, then everything makes sense. And then our response and our reaction, our relationship to the others in our life, and then, of course, the animal, plant, mineral kingdom becomes very, very much more expansive than ever I could have thought of. When back in my banking days, did not see it coming. Love the fact that I left the banking days and that we're having lots of fun on the journey, exploring and expanding.
I'm so grateful that you joined us on Enlightened World Network and that you brought us.
Always a pleasure, always a treat.
You brought us such a wealth of resources in what you're sharing, and also through the Love Foundation. If people are interested in contacting you in the future, how do they do that?
The lovefoundation.com is probably the easiest. That's the main nonprofit. We also have internalinsights.com. And then through any of the social media, we have a presence throughout Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest and everywhere else. But we're quite findable throughout that. And if anyone wants to reach out, we welcome the comments, the ideas, the inspiration. We love to find our fellow lovers of the world and enjoy the journey to realize that we're all doing it together. We might be in far corners of the world. That's one thing. The Love Foundation, we have a wonderful opportunity because we've connected with people around the globe, and there are individuals, I call them little acupuncture points of love everywhere on this planet. And that's very heartening, because when the world seems somewhat chaotic, I know from a different perspective that there are indeed people living their truth of love on every corner of this planet possible.
That's inspiring. Thank you. And to everyone who's joined us, thank you for joining us on Enlightened World Network. We have daily meditations and energy healings. We also have community. So please come back and join us another time, and take care. We're so pleased to be with you today. Thank you.